If you're a Madden player, Bex, this is the opportunity you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You want to test yourself, especially at your first live event. Going up against Skimbo is the opportunity to tell yourself, can I do this on the highest level possible? Well, guess what, Mr. Football? You're going to have a chance to find out right now.
We're doing it. Here we go. And we are off. I am nervous for these two. All right, here we go. What do you think the game plan Mr. Football88 is moving forward with today?
You know what's funny is both of these guys have very similar game plan specs. They're both running with this Andrew Luck at quarterback, where he has the dash and deadeye and the escape artist ability. So these are going to be two guys that are going to be looking to air the ball out.
All right, now we are going to reboot here really quickly and get this reset up. And this was a fun fact that you told me. Skimbo actually had to run to Best Buy this morning. Is that true?
Yeah, I saw him in the hotel lobby. I said, Mike, well, you know, what are you doing? Your call time's not for like another hour or so. What's going on? He said, oh, I need another adapter for my controller. I need to be able to hear the game sound correctly. So he's up early, going to, the electronics store to get adapters, and that just shows how obsessive he is about when he plays. Everything needs to be according to plan. He's very precise and very surgical in his approach to this game. So.
Well, which makes complete sense that he's playing for the Patriots today, because that's a very Bill Belichick-ish, behavior. That's how they play here for the Patriots.
I've been calling him Skim Belichick for years because you're right. He really is best compared to Brady and Belichick in his approach to the game, where he's very secretive in what he's doing. The way he practices everything, every situational. How does this play work from the right hash? How does it work from the middle of the field, from the left hash? What does this play do against this defense, this adjustment? He literally dots the I's and crosses the T's on everything. And it's that attention to detail that makes him such an elite player, because it's hard to have a skill gap when you're playing against all these guys that are so good. But those little things are how you create that gap, and Skimbo is the best at those little things.
Absolutely. We are back at it.
And Skimbo's going to be on offense first. And you see him rolling out with that Andrew Luck. That's the ball to Marvin Harrison. That's a good way to start the ball if you're Skim. He has the #1 out of all 128 players that made live events for all 32 clubs. Skimbo has the #1 passing offense, Beck. So look for him to slang this rock all over Gillette Field.
Now, of all the live events that there are, we have the clubs, and then we have the bowl. They're the ball. That's really the Super Bowl of Madden. And is that what every single one of these players are trying to get to?
Yeah, everybody's goal is to get to the Madden Bowl, Bex. But I'll tell you what, even though the Madden Bowl is very prestigious, the most money to be made is here in this club championship. And Mike Skimbo knows that. He says, I'm tired of winning the tournaments that don't mean the most. I want to win the tournament that gives the most amount of money, and that is this club championship. He hasn't had the success he wanted in the past. So here's his chance to go at it again, and he's going up top to Randy. Oh, it feels good, Bex, to see Randy Moss back in a Patriots uniform, getting busy at Gillette. And you see it, Skimbo just moving the ball so effectively.
Not even a minute in, and he's taking those risks. He's making those plays. Do you think that we'll see this consistency out of him and this, aggressive play the entire time?
Absolutely, Bex. When talking to him, he told me, gee, I'm checking down a lot less than I used to. He's got a lot of deep routes down the field, and he really is just attacking people. Look at this Andrew Luck. He's going to scramble. Yep. Good block by the, ooh.
Tapping on the side, just making sure.
I call that the Fred Flintstone swag, when you got your tippy toes right there on the sideline.
He's conscious enough to know that he needs to stay in.
Yeah, a little yabba dabba do right there from Skim. But this is, I will say, Bex, if there was one weakness in his game, it's this. Once he gets to the red zone, the goal line, Skimbo doesn't have a good running attack. So he can tend to stall out here a little bit. I'm really interested to see how Skimbo approaches this red zone.
Now, looking at Skimbo and Mr. Football up against each other, what do you think Skimbo's biggest fear is going up against? Oh, and he's in.
For Skimbo, it's not big touchdown for him right there,
Huge.
but his fear is not being prepared. He doesn't like not knowing what his opponent is doing and what he has to prepare for. And I'll tell you what, talking to him, he was expecting Mr. Football to, like I said, be in a run-heavy type of scheme. So the fact that Mr. Football's coming out here with the pass-heavy scheme is not what Skimbo was trying to hear. I'm curious to see how he responds to that. The good news for Skimbo is Mr. Football is running the same exact offense as him. They're both in that West Coast offensive playbook. They're both in the New York Jets defensive playbook. So Skimbo does have a lot of reps against this style of play. He just doesn't have the best team to go up against it.
Absolutely. We got 7 points on the board for Skimbo in the first. So, I mean, this is a game. And Mr. Football is going to come from behind, but it's only a one pass possession.
Yeah, and this guy, Mr. Football, he had a tough road to get here. This is a guy that had to beat J-Wall in an overtime win-in, get-in game to make this live event. And for those that don't remember, J-Wall's the defending champion of the New England Patriots from last year who beat Skimbo. So if you're Mr. Football and you got the skills to knock off like a guy like J-Wall, that tells you that, this is a serious Madden player Skimbo's going up against.
Now, is Skimbo watching tape? Is that how he's prepping for Mr. Football?
Well, I don't know if he had any tape on Mr. Football. The tape he had was obviously out of date because it's, him running the ball, but big sack right there from Skim. But for Skimbo, whether he's got his opponent's tape or whatever, he's always watching tape, even if it's on himself, to see what he can do better. I mean, he's a professional Madden player. This is a guy that has a sponsorship with Lazarus Gaming. He gets a monthly check despite if he wins or loses. This is what he does full time, and he treats it that way. He truly does.
And on the Mr. Football end, he's in school, 20 years old, making his way to the East Coast for the very first time. Huge run there to get that first. So, I mean, this is a whole new world for him.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? He said he was just thrilled for this opportunity. He said, hey, I'm a college kid. Just coming out here and getting $1,500 guaranteed, that's a big deal for me. I can actually eat good, a little bit. You know how it is when you're in that college life.
The things I would have been able to do with a $1,500 when I was in college.
You know what I'm saying? So he's thrilled to be here, but again, he said he really wants the opportunity to play Skimbo and to test himself, and he has that opportunity now.
And wasn't he saying something about going into fraternity?
Oh,
yeah.
That reminds me.
We got to talk about that.
We got to shout out. He's pledging for a fraternity right there at Oregon. It's the Kappa Sigma fraternity. He says they're at home watching. Hey, guys, you got a good one there, Mr. Football. Make sure you get him in there. Yeah. Shout out to Kappa Sigma.
He needs to be a brother.
He needs to be a brother. He speaks very highly of y'all. Ooh, that's good stick work.
Got that first.
When I say stick work, that's him, the way he's controlling the player back. So he had Dante Hall, a little stop and go, waited for the blocks, got to the outside, and it's always nice when you see someone that can get sticky with that ball carrier. It's usually a sign of a good Madden player.
Now, is Mr. Football one to bring his own equipment, or is he whatever's here will play with?
That's a good question. I don't know. I could tell you Michael Skimbo definitely brought his own equipment. Mr. Football, I'm not sure. Did say his name. I asked him where the Mr. Football came from. He said it was inspired by one of his favorite YouTubers, Mr. Golden Sports. So shout out to my guy Golden Sports if he's out there watching, and his girl Country Girl. It's a good couple right there in the Madden community and good people.
Yeah, and I asked him, I was like, where'd the 88 come from? Were you born in 88? Not at all. He was a 90s baby. I believe it was 98 that he was born. But one of his favorite football players wore 88, so that's where the 88 comes from, Mr. Football 88.
There you go. That's good research there, Bex.
Yeah, I chatted him up beforehand. He was like, who's this person that just keeps asking me questions?
And here we go, Bex. We got ourselves a big 4th down now here for Mr. Football 88. He's going to have his chance to test himself. No, he's going to get the boot out and take 3. And if you're Skimbo, you'll take this. You're happy to give up 3 because you know your offense is high-powered enough where you could get this ball back, go down, get yourself a touchdown, and be up 2 possessions.
Now, if you're in his position, you're playing, you're Mr. Football 88, are you taking that kick, or are you taking the risk and trying to get that 1st down?
Me? You know, it depends. I might have let my nerves get to me, you know, playing a guy like Skimbo. And, you know, he's the type of guy where you feel like field goals may not be good because you know he's going to put up points in a hurry, and it could give you that extra pressure to, you know, want to score touchdowns and not field goals. But, you know, Mr. Football's here for a reason. He's got to trust his process, and he's going to have to step up on defense right now.
Now, one of his tactics, too, he said, was trying to get into Skimbo's head.
Oh, speaking. Oh, Skip's got it! He's got it! Mawson! Randy Moss splits the defense, one-on-one coverage on the streak. Skimbo rolls out, throws an absolute laser to one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. And if you Mike Skim, that's how quick it can happen, Bex. One play and another touchdown.
There it is.
He said it was going to be the Andrew Luck show, and he has not disappointed so far, Bex.
You're Mr. Football 88. Are you nervous at this point?
Absolutely.
You're like, what kind of question is
this
that?
guy is walking up the field, and I'll tell you, in this year's Madden, it's not easy to pass the ball very efficiently and get points in a hurry like that, and Michael Skimbo is making it look easy. That could be very intimidating, especially when you know his track record of being one of the best Madden players of this generation and possibly all time.
All right, so what's the game plan for Mr. Football? How does he come back from this?
You stick with your game plan. One drive at a time. Don't get over anxious. Don't try to get it all back in one play. There's a reason you're here. Stick to your scheme and, you know, let the game come to you, and eventually, hopefully, you can make a big play on defense. But he will have to make a big play on defense at some point, and you got to keep up the scoring. You got to get points on this drive. And I'm telling you, Beck, Skimbo's defense is completely depleted. Besides he has Pat Tillman out there with Enforcer and the Tackle Supreme ability, but besides that, he's got nobody on defense. He's got an 86 overall Deion Sanders, an 86 overall Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, this defense is completely tanked because of how much of his cap he spent on offense in that Pat Tillman. So it's going to be hard for Skimbo to get stops.
Absolutely. First and 10, or into the 2nd quarter here. Oh, a big one. And there he goes. That is huge for.
Oh my God, and look at Skimbo, he's not happy about that.
That was huge.
If you're Mr. Football, that is how to respond. You know they got to be back home in Oregon. He's probably got the fraternity going. They're going nuts over there, and you know that is exactly how do you respond to the pressure of going up against a guy like Michael Skimbo on the big stage. You go and get 7. But now the ball's back in Skimbo's court.
And you know what? I mean, Mr. Football traveled from the West Coast yesterday, didn't get in until midnight, so he's still adjusting to the time change. They're 3 hours behind where he's coming from, so I'm sure there's a little bit of jet lag in there, but he's not letting it show. Not
letting it show at all. And I asked him about that last night, guys. He got on the phone with me when he got off his flight. It was around midnight, 12:30. I'm like, bro, you sure you want to talk right now? You don't want to go and get some rest? You got a big game tomorrow. Said, you know what, G? There's no way I won't be up to that game tomorrow, regardless of sleep. So he came here to play. He said he could sleep after the tournament, and you know what? That's a good attitude to have.
Absolutely. In the 2nd quarter, 4 minutes and 7 seconds at this point.
Got, you know, that Kappa Sigma watching back home. His friends Tommy and Seth, they got to be going crazy, but Skimbo also going crazy with this offense as he continues to convert, as he converts on a big 3rd down right there. This is interesting. You see Skimbo going some I-form wing, little twin tight end package.
What does that mean? What's he looking to do there?
I think he was just setting his personnel, but that's a heavy package. That's a 22 personnel where you got 2 tight ends and 2 running backs in the backfield, and this is where you really look to run the ball out of this formation, but Skimbo not known for running the ball. So, you know, maybe he's just trying to test out the run defense right here. Oh, I know exactly what he's doing as well, Bex. Oh, this is huge. Good stick work. And that's big for Skim because what he was actually doing right there, Bex, he was just wasting a play. He wanted to run the ball to give his receivers a chance to catch their breath. Every time he passes the ball, he's got these deep routes downfield, and that'll tire out the receivers after a while. So he told me, he said, every now and then I got to mix in a run just to get those guys fatigued. So when you go and you try to just mix in a run real quick and, break it for 20-plus yards, that's a huge win for him.
It's incredible as you guys develop Madden that's something that you guys consider.
I mean, what do you mean?
Like making sure that it feels as authentic to being on the field.
Fatigue,
the fatigue of it.
For sure. Hey, EA Sports, it's in the game. That's
sure is.
That's their saying. And, there are a lot of things that are similar in Madden to real football, but there's also some key differences. I mean, the 5-minute quarters, that's a huge difference here, Bex. You can get fatigued, but you can't get injured in Madden. That's another big deal. You can play you can throw passes like that over the middle and not worried about your guy, being out 5 to 6 weeks. So
absolutely.
Definitely some big differences. And Skimbo continues to make a difference here on offenses. He hasn't even been close to getting stopped yet.
No, and this is, we're already in the second. I believe our first game, it was 3 whatever in the fourth quarter. So, we've gotten points on the board as we go into 1st and goal for Skimbo.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's what you get with Michael Skimbo, and he says this is the best he's felt on offense since Madden 17 when he won the entire Madden ball tournament back then and won his first championship belt. So
yep, nothing there from Mr. Football not letting anything get through.
Yeah, and I've talked to some of the guys. Skimbo doesn't play a lot of guys, but he does play some elite level players like Dubby, the young Tonys, the Dukes, and I talked to Dubby, and Dubby told me, he said, gee, Mike is going to win the tournament. This is the best he's looked in a long time. He is just better than everyone else, and so far so good. But I'll tell you what, Bex, we got a big 3rd down.
Huge, under 2 minutes.
There. If he doesn't get this, you pretty much got to take your points. You got to take your 3. So this is a huge play right now. This could be the biggest play of the game for Mr. Football to this point. It's a chance to get yourself some momentum and keep this a 1-possession ball game. Wow. Oh my gosh.
He makes it look so easy.
How surgical.
Yeah.
How surgical was that? Just drops back, the house is coming, throws the post route. Moss with a nice dive and catch animation and continues to keep himself up 2 possessions. It's just so surgical, and this isn't an accident, Bex. This is just all preparation. This is all the hard work he puts in, leads up to these big games. And it's only one game, one slip-up, and that could all go to waste. So Skimbo clearly leaving it all out on the virtual gridiron.
Absolutely, and that's what you have to do. Again, it's win or go home at this point. So you have to be bringing out the absolute best that you have in every single one of these plays.
And I'll tell you, if you're a serious Madden player and you're in the club championship, I guarantee you there are guys out there rooting for Mr. Football right now saying, come on, man, because you don't want to see Skimbo in that final 32 tournament. That's going to be a lot for you to deal with.
Now, why do you think with his game he hasn't made it to the club championships yet? What has he been lacking?
He's just run into some tough players here in New England. The first year he was out here, he lost a close game to Shut It Down, who was very prepared, was the first ever Patriots Club champion. He wanted the next year, where he eventually lost a problem in the final 8 of the final 32 tournament, so he had a decent run that year. Yeah. And then last year he lost to J-Wall. It's just a tough tournament and single elimination. You slip up one game, you can be gone. It can happen to anybody, but he does all that he can to make sure it doesn't happen. And so far, so good.
Absolutely. 2nd and 10.
And it's cool what the way you hear his peers talk about him. Everybody admires his work ethic. They admire his commitment to the game and his approach to it. This is a guy that truly does have the respect of all of his peers just because of the work he has put in over these years.
And you were saying, you got a chance to chat with him, that he goes back and runs these plays over and over and over again and making sure that he knows exactly what to do, getting the timing right. Is that really what's perfecting it?
Yeah, just it's that obsessive mentality. It's a big stop right there for Mike Skim, 4th and 27. But yeah, it's just an obsessive mentality, Bex, where, like I said, you're going to dot those I's and cross those T's. And, you know, when some guys might play, 5 to 6 hours a day, he's playing 8 to 12. I mean, he just really puts in the work. And I know it's cliche to say, but if you put your mind to something and you work hard at it, it works out. And from my experiences, the cliche stuff is sometimes the realest stuff. And Skimbo embodies that. It's just a lot of hard work and a lot of preparation, and that's why he's a great person to be here trying to represent the Patriots, because I feel like that's what this organization's all about.
Absolutely, and he's a huge Tom Brady fan, as you could see, as he has him as quarterback, and he said that he cried that year that the Pats beat Atlanta, the Falcons. Did you? I feel like,
He goes off with his Andrew Luck. Don't let that throw fool you, Bex. He's got Luck back there.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, what am I saying?
Brady wouldn't be moving around like this Luck's moving around.
It's so, I still can't believe that it's not Tom Brady in there.
No, it's a good point. One of the biggest hurdles, let this play go down as he scrambles with Luck. One of the biggest hurdles for competitive Madden is for the casual fan, Bex, when they, go and they look and they see
the
paper,
12. That's immediately what I thought.
Yeah, they're like, where's Tom Brady? They don't understand that it is a salary cap mode, a special mode where these guys construct their team and they're in control of the players. So,
but let me tell you, Andrew Luck's not bad to have on the field either.
There he goes to Moss again. Oh, there's a big interception.
That's huge.
Look at Mike. He is not happy about that. He knows. He went to that Randy Moss well one too many times. If you miss the football, that's a big turnover right now, but you have to be careful. You only have 40 seconds. You only have one timeout. You have to make sure you don't turn this ball over in an attempt trying to get points and let Skimbo get points on the defensive side of the ball. Watch out for that Tillman. That Patrick Tillman is one of the best defenders in all of Madden, Bex, and he puts some abilities on him. That means when that Tillman gets a hold of you, he is going to tackle your lights out. I mean, he has an enforcer ability, a tackle supreme ability, and what those do is ensure that he doesn't allow any broken tackles, and when he attempts the big hit, he's going to land it. So one of the most dominant defenders in all of Madden on Skimbo's team, and that's probably why his defense is depleted, as he spent so much of his salary cap and on that one Pat Tillman on defense.
You could start to see a little bit of frustration in Skimbo, and he seems to be talking as I watch that. What do you think he's saying right now?
I think on that last one, he's saying, Tillman, I need you to crack him for me and cause a fumble. He says Tillman's good for a fumble a game. We haven't seen it yet. Skimbo's waiting for it. If you miss the football here, 3rd and 12, you want to convert this because you don't want to have to punt the ball back to Mike. Skimbo's going to use his last time out. He's got about 25 seconds here. Try to, make something happen. If you're Skimbo, if you're going to take a shot, you want to take a shot deep down the field because you don't want to turn the ball over in your own territory and give Mr. Football a chance to get some points before the end of this half. You're up 2 possessions. You got to be happy with that. No mistakes, and I don't expect them to make one. I mean, it is Skimbo we're talking about here. I have seen even the greatest players get greedy at times.
Absolutely. 15 seconds on the clock. Get rid of it.
It's a good throwaway, Bex. It's mature. It's mature. If that's your average Joe playing that and he's forcing that pass downfield, it's probably getting turned over. Skimbo clicks in that right stick, which is the throwaway button. It allows him to throw it away.
Looking down the field.
Mike, that's huge. What a catch. That's perfect execution, Bex, with no timeouts. Wow. You throw a deep post on the sideline. Tony toe tap swag. And then he gets himself a field goal out of it. It's why he's one of the best. What a surgical way to get yourself points in a situation where most people just have no clue how to get points.
Absolutely.
Goes and does it.
To go into the second half up 24-10. It's not a bad place for him to be.
And that was a really good play call by Mike. He had the deep post route going over the middle. It forced Mr. Football to cover it. then had the corner route break towards the sideline, no user over there, crispy dot, catch, out of bounds, free field goal.
All right, going through halftime, and we're right into it. These games move quick, RG.
And imagine that, that's all that hard work, all those hours logged, all the time you put in.
And it comes down to 20 minutes.
20 minutes. It's crazy. And that's why in competitive Madden, you'll see people go for it on 4th down. You'll see them be more aggressive. And it's because you have to. The game is more aggressive. It's literally, less than half of a real NFL game.
Yep.
So it really is just a different style of football that you need to play. See what Mr. Football's got there. And Skimbo just continues to get pressure on him.
What does Mr. Football need to do to change his game to come back from this?
He's taken a couple sacks here. The first thing he needs to do is pick up this 1-4-6 blitz from those slot cornerbacks that Skimbo keeps sending. If you notice the difference, Skimbo keeps on picking up the blitz and is able to roll out. With Mr. Football, he's either got to get the ball out quick, or when he tries to roll out, he's taking a lot of sacks. You need to pick up this blitz that Skimbo is sending at you and let your Andrew Luck move around and throw the ball on the run and scramble, because that's what he's good at. Easier said than done, Bucks. 3rd and 10 here. A run on 3rd and 10. Oh, that's bad stick work, Bex. He had all kinds of room if he just got to the numbers. And then he just cut it inside.
Too soon.
And now it's 4th and 10. This is huge. If he doesn't get this, Skimbo's already in field goal range, where he'll be able to just milk clock, kick a field goal, and make it 3 possessions. This is such a big play for Mr. Football. It's picked. Skimbo's trying to run it back. He's got room. Ixon.
That footwork is impeccable by Skimbo.
That's a big return back, because the interception was, if you miss the football, you almost rather throw it because it gets Skimbo out of field goal range, but then Skimbo able to return it, get himself back in field goal range. And wow, Skimbo with no regard continues to just come out and slang this rock all over the field.
And when Skimbo was playing in those online eliminations, did he have a hard time getting through, or did he just?
Skimbo didn't lose a game in online elimination, even though it was double elimination. But I'll tell you who else didn't lose a game in online elimination was Pecan.
Well, that's what.
So both of those guys technically undefeated so far in this Patriots Club event. Something's going to have to budge by the end of the day. It'll be interesting to see who is it that budges first.
Here we go, 2nd and goal.
Good touchdown for Mike. And if you're Mr. Football, I mean, you can't give up. You got to keep on rocking, but I'll tell you what, this is a tough place to be. Down 21 points against the best Madden player of this generation, the professional Bill Belichick Jr., a.k.a. Michael Skimbo.
What'd you call him?
Skim Belichick.
Skim Belichick.
Ooh, good stick work. And you know what? If you're Mr. Football, nothing to hang your head about. You obviously got to keep fighting, but you're 20 years old. You guaranteed yourself $1,500. You made it here to play with the best of the best. And, at 20 years old, you got Skimbo's 28. You still have a lot of time left and opportunity to continue to improve your game and continue to try to capitalize on these opportunities.
What does he need to improve? Where does he need to pick it up? Where is he lacking?
It's a good question, Pex. I think a lot of it is just experience, right? I mean, you're going up against one of the most, if not the most experienced player here in this Madden Championship era. So, experience is definitely going to be key for him. And, I don't see anything really that's terrible with his game. If I had to be super critical of it, I think one of his problems is he's running the passing meta. He's running an offense that Skimbo sees all the time. So it's going to be something he's very interested, comfortable against playing. And if you're Mr. Football, if you can't run those schemes at the best level, if you're not amazing with them, sometimes it's good to find your own flavor and, find something that you might catch people off guard
Absolutely.
with. I mean, right now he's trying to pretty much run the same offense as Skimbo, just not as effectively as Skimbo.
And, a lot of it goes into being here before. I mean, Skimbo's done this. He's been in front of that, that screen and under those lights. So a lot of that goes into it.
There's an
There it
interception
is.
for Skimbo. Poor Mr. Football. And we have a saying in Madden, Bex. It's a savage world in Madden. What do you do when you see a man drowning in a competitive Madden game? The answer is you throw water on him. And right now,
That's what's happening.
Skimbo is throwing water all over Mr. Football.
No mercy.
No mercy. It's like Cobra Kai. Look at this. He's still just passing the ball, airing it out. And this is one knock on Skimbo, and it has been for a long time, is since he's such a pass-first type player, when he's up in these, late in these games, it's harder for him to he doesn't run the ball, so it's harder for him to milk the clock and get the game over with. You see him, he's up 21, and he's still out here airing it out.
Absolutely.
Just go ahead.
It's too easy. If I'm Skimbo, I'm telling you, at this point, I'm focusing on just running this ball and milking this clock. I don't want PCAM seeing any more of my route combinations. I don't want him getting comfortable with my tendencies. I'm running as many dummy plays as I can, and I'm milking that play clock down to 1 second every single time. In this situation, he'll wait till the game clock's under 40 seconds. He'll run the ball. That'll be the last play of this drive.
Now, as
Of this
PCAM
quarter.
sits there and finishes, the end of this game, what's he doing to get himself prepped for this final game of the day?
Well, I bet you he is up there and he is glued to the monitor, watching all of Skimbo's tendencies, just trying to think of different things he can do to slow down this Randy Moss, Andrew Luck, and Marvin Harrison connection, because it looks very, very potent for Skimbo right now. And that's what I like Skimbo doing here. He's no longer going to his famous gun bunch. Like I said, he's in this dummy I-twin tight end formation. And
Still finding his way
still
through.
finding his way. Oh my gosh, just stop and go. Stop showing off, Steve. He's showing off now.
He's having fun.
And, assuming Skimbo wins this game like it looks like, if you're the Patriots, Bex, and the Patriots fans, how thrilled do you got to be that you're either going to have Mike Skimbo or PCAM representing you in that club championship. Two guys that are diehard Patriots fans. They love this organization. They're fighting for this tournament because of how big of fans they are for this organization, and you got to like your chances with either one of those guys to make some noise at this club championship. I mean, the Patriots have won Super Bowls, but they've never brought that club championship trophy back here to Gillette. I'm sure they wouldn't mind some extra hardware.
Absolutely, and this might be the year, especially the way that Skimbo is playing, the way that we saw PCAM play. So this might be it.
And remember the stat I told you. In every club championship, whoever wins, it's either Michael Skimbo or the guy that beat Michael Skimbo. And it looks like that trend is going to continue here at the fourth installment of the Patriots Club Championship.
And let's talk about that major event out in California. I mean, that's the biggest stage that you could be on when it comes to this club championship. At that point, $100,000 is on the line. How do you even prepare for something like that?
I mean, you'll lock it. You prepare like there's $100,000 on the line. If you got some sick days at work, you might want to use some of them. And, you just surround yourself with a lot of good players, Bex. That's what these guys do. They surround themselves with the best of the best. And, I mean, they'll, like I said, they'll practice everything. Hey, I know this guy likes to run this formation. Let's find a defense for it. I know he likes this route combo. Let's make sure we know how to take it away. He likes to run this blitz. How do we, set up our protection to pick it up? They will literally go through everything, the best players will, to make sure they're prepared for all scenarios in that club championship.
And taking a look at some of the other clubs, who are some of the other players that we need to be aware of moving forward to that big championship game?
There's a couple of them out there. Ironically enough, I think the #1 guy that is on everyone's radar is the Philadelphia Eagles club champion.
Oddly enough.
Oddly enough. They got this 16-year-old phenom. It's his first year competing on the scene, young Henry, and this kid is serious on the Madden sticks. He was the runner-up at the Madden Classic, where at 16, he banked, I think, $25,000 already, and then he, guaranteed him spot. Oh no, fake punt.
Right at our 2-minute warning, too.
But yeah, young Henry representing those Philadelphia Eagles is a guy to keep your eye out on. He is a phenom on the sticks, one of the best up-and-coming players we have seen on the circuit. And, him and Skimbo could be on a collision course later down the line.
Yeah.
A little Eagles-Patriots.
Ahead of today's big game, which is going to be a huge game for the Pats and the Eagles today. They're Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia as we take on Gillette Stadium today.
I was planning on going to that game. I was at that Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl. It left a sour taste in my mouth.
Oh.
And I wanted to go see the revenge game, but you got the opportunity to come out here and be a part of this with, you and the rest of the Patriots organization, and it's been a dream come true. I couldn't pass it up.
Absolutely. 3rd and goal.
Yeah, you just milk this ball.
That milk tastes pretty good.
It sure does when you're up 21. When you're down 21, it's not so much.
Oh, gosh. Mr. Football, though, he's so young. He's still got a lot ahead of him. So he has a bright future ahead of him. For him, but the first time ever to be in a live event, to make it to this stage, is really incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you beat the defending champion in online elimination in a win and get end game in J-Wall. You made it here to a live event, which I think there's over 70,000 people that signed up for all the clubs. We had 5,000 that signed up, over 5,000 that signed up for the Patriots. You make it to that Final Four. You have a lot to be proud of, especially as a full-time college shooter. That's a lot of work. That's not easy to do. So.
And when it came to these brackets, these Final Fours, how did they decide who plays who?
It's based off the seeding. So the number 1 seed on the Xbox side of the bracket will play the number 2 seed from PlayStation 4, and then the number 1 seed from PlayStation 4, plays the 2 seed from Xbox.
And how much does the thought of whether you're playing on an Xbox or a PlayStation go into it for these guys who are trying to get seeded?
Oh, that's a big deal, and a lot of the times it just comes down to, what console is your preference.
Yep.
Which one do you like to play on? And then you have some guys like Michael Skimbo. He qualified on PlayStation 4, but he'll also get reps in on Xbox to make sure
he could qualify for both.
Well, you can't qualify for both, but what it does is when he practices on the Xbox, it makes sure when he comes to this live event that when you play on an Xbox at the live event, so it makes it so he's comfortable.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You don't want to only be playing PlayStation and then you come here and it's like, I don't know the buttons. Or he makes sure that he is comfortable on both systems. And again, that's just the type of preparation that you're dealing with when you're dealing with Michael Skimbo.
Absolutely, and you could tell he's extremely comfortable as they get ready to wrap this game up. 38 points on the board for Skimbo.
Said it was going to be the Andrew Luck show, and he did not disappoint.
Nope.
And again, shout out to Mr. Football, my guy John Britt, 20 years old, from San Diego, California, full-time student at Oregon. Good luck out there. And keep your head up.
You know what my favorite part about him is? He says that his favorite meal is orange chicken from Panda Express.
I love me some orange chicken. He's a pad Thai guy too. He likes
love
some
pad
Thai food. Me and him started talking about Thai food. You know me, you get me talking about food, that conversation might take a while.
We might have to take him over to Kowloon's at some point.
You know I hit that Kowloon already, Bex. You know I hit it.
All right, 38-10 for our final. That smile on Skimbo is not something you see very often because he's usually he's here to play. But this game and this win for him was huge.
Yeah, you see him smile. It's hard not to smile after you put up 38 points, especially against a good player like Mr. Football. And now he knows that he's only one game away from all that hard work, all that preparation, finally being able to pay off. And we get to see that championship game next. I can't wait.
Absolutely. We're going to toss it over to Jess, who is with Skimbo right now. What's up, Jess?
Skimbo, congratulations. 38 points on the board. I mean, were you expecting to do all that right now?
I love playing offense. I love getting busy. You know, he was a good player. He actually played good defense, and his offense, you know, was tricky because people close to me know I laughed for something that was not what he just ran. So I was actually kind of fortunate because he was having Randy Moss at tight end out of this one formation, and I didn't know how to stop him. And then when he came out in bunch, I was like relieved.
Well, that was exciting to see him. Very intense. And how are you feeling going into the final round?
I mean, I feel good. It's just, you know, it's the same thing last year. I had a huge win, kind of a blowout last year, and then I lost in the final. So, you know, I've been around. I'm not getting ahead of myself. I know I got a really good opponent. Everyone here is a really good opponent. I understand the person I'm going to play in the finals is really, really good, and if I don't play my best, I'm going to lose.
Yeah. Well, I saw you sitting, you know, watching round one, and you were just so focused. So I'm sure you got a good mindset ready to go.
Yeah, I think I know what he wants to do, but, you know, people know what I want to do too. It's just if you can execute better. So at the end of the day, that's all it is.
Well, we are so excited for the final round, and we have a full crowd here ready to see the finals. Shout out to the youth hockey players back here as well. But Bex and RG, we are going to send it back down to you guys.
Oh, I love that crowd. So excited up there.
You know, shout out to my Patriots family up there in the crowd, man. Y'all get hyped up there. You support this final game. It's good to have y'all
Absolutely.
out here.
And you know what's interesting? He referenced that loss last year. I was here and I watched him, and it was, I mean, he's experienced now. He won that first game last year, and then it went into that second game. So I'm sure that knowing that, having that experience is really going to help him here.
Yeah, you heard him. He's very mature. He's not getting ahead of himself. And you heard Jess say, you know, that last game, he wasn't, you know, dilly-daddling around, talking to people, politicking. He was focused on PCAM's game, locked in, getting ready. So this is going to be a good one. You're going to have a very focused, prepared Michael Skimbo trying to continue his dominance. And you got PCAM, the diehard Patriots fan from Ohio with his girlfriend here and his papa watching back home. They're going to battle to see who's the champion.
It's going to be a huge game. That is all coming up. And we'll be right back for that major final game to see who we will crown the Madden 20 Club Champion for the Patriots.